Hello, here are today's papers for Friday the 23rd of August 2024 with me, Paul O'Kelly, editor of dublinchampion.ie. Could Rashida Adeleke's fourth place in the Olympics now become a fight for a bronze medal? Both the Independent and the Daily Mail seem to think so. They report a darkening cloud over second place Salwa Eid Naser, with the runner from Bahrain banned by World Athletics following no fewer than 3 drug test failures in 12 months. Both Indo and Mail are frankly baffled as to why the world ban didn't translate into a banishing of Naser from the Paris Olympics. The report by Sean McGoldrick on pages 50 and 51 of The Independent seems to suggest some kind of fudge. Naser was allowed to run in Paris, but in a kind of proxy punishment, the Bahrain team would be cut down to 10 members. Not in Paris, mind you, but in the next Olympics in Los Angeles. Nonsensical, isn't it? Says McGoldrick, and the Irish Daily Mail is inclined to agree. It's sickening, they say, in a story that I hope we'll hear more about when the other papers catch up. Meanwhile, the Leaving Cert results trigger articles, helplines, and even pull-out supplements. There's one in the Irish Times and a bumper 20 pages in the Irish Independent. And there's also the time-honoured annual hunt for happy, preferably photogenic female students. The Irish Independent devotes page 1 to a glowing Katie Brady from Athboy, while the Irish News pictures the Mackey triplets Ellen, Sarah and Lois, complete with their total of 29 A's and A stars in their GCSEs. But there's a grim story leading the Herald. A 7-strong burglary team battered their way into a home in County Kildare. At 5 yesterday morning, these terrifying thugs stormed into a house in Hartwell Green, wielding crowbars and other weapons. The invasion was aborted only when the besieged family, with the help of their dogs, made enough noise to scare the gang away. Later, cars were stolen and the thieves fled to County Wicklow, equipped for yet more thievery and destruction. The Examiner continues to highlight the withdrawal of therapy services from Cork children with special needs. Minister Anne Rabbitte has apparently broken her promise to pay for private treatment for those pupils who can't get help at school. The Examiner also covers the long-running Man City football fairness saga. City's financial firepower has long been questioned by UEFA and the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Jack Anderson reports that the city could, in theory, be stripped of no fewer than 5 league titles. But that's only in theory. As it is, he reports, back-channel government pressure would likely persuade all concerned not to offend Man City's main backers, the United Arab Emirates. It's all about trade, apparently, and not about football or fairness. And just as I was putting all of this to bed, in popped this through my letterbox. Now, there's often more of woe and wonder in a single edition of the Phoenix than there is in a whole pile of daily papers. As it happens, I don't have their clout or coverage, so I'll just say, speaking very carefully, that today you can read 2 entirely different versions of the life and times of Mary Robinson. One is in a lavish 2-page spread in the Irish Daily Star. And the other, perhaps not quite so flattering, is here on page 3 of the Phoenix, headed Mary Robinson's Makeover. Which is fairer? Which is closer to the truth? You decide. I'm no lawyer. Miss Robinson is, and I ain't touching this one with a barge pole. Finally, and speaking of making a good impression, The Sun reports that to cope with the bricky and carpenter shortage, rebranding is the word from the government frontbench. Further Education Minister Patrick O'Donovan lets us know that the word apprenticeship is the real reason we're not recruiting enough apprentices. Time for a rebrand and a fancy new name. Not a bad plan. After all, We told you a couple of weeks ago about the rebranding of the Children's Hospital. And that's the one thing that's going to make us all forget about that triple billion bill, those missed deadlines, and those 300 suffering children denied their long-promised spinal surgery. While you're at it, Minister O'Donovan, you and your colleagues dream up a rebranding for just two things: perpetual pain and lifelong immobility. You can do it. You can do it. After all, writer George Orwell managed 3 rebrandings in a single sentence. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. I'm Paul O'Kelly, and I'll be back tomorrow.